Well, everybody, welcome along to my EFL Extra Time Podcast, a second episode where we're going to be today previewing all the weekend's action across Sky Bet's Championship, League 1 and League 2. So without further ado, we're going to jump into the first game of the Sky Bet Championship, and that's Aston Villa and their home to Fulham in the first 3 o'clock kick-off on Saturday. So this will be a tough game for Aston Villa. Obviously slipping up against a good Wolves side on Saturday, and we're already outrun by the likes of Bonatini and Diogo Jota and Ruben Neves in behind pulling the strings, and their Portuguese flair players really got under the skin of Aston Villa and caused them a lot of problems, and it was a comfortable success for Wolves who really blew Aston Villa away in the second half and scored 2 wonderful goals. And it's going to be a case of whether Aston Villa could bounce back against the Fulham side who I support them on their my team, and we played quite poor Saturday. I was at the game, and it wasn't a great performance on Saturday. 2-0 down in the first half, kind of allowed Preston to just dominate the ball in the first half. They took 2 good chances as well, in all due respect as well. Went into the break at 2-0, and it was really a game of 2 halves. Really, we came back in the second half with a penalty from Oliver Norwood. Obviously, Tom Kearney came back from injury on Saturday, and we really did see the difference of him. We really missed him as well. And it was just good to see him come back and play some good stuff. And then we got the late equaliser from a door in the last minute. And it's going to be a tight game, I think, this week. I think Fulham will win this 2-1. I just think that Derby defeat for Aston Villa will have a knock-on effect from them. And they built up some really good form prior to that. And it's just going to be another defeat for them. Let's go into the next game, Barnsley home to Hull. It'll be tough for Barnsley, this will be. I think they're a good side. However, Hull City as well. Both sides really need the 3 points in this game. And it's going to be a case of whether or not they can be up. Whoever's going to come up for it the most. I mean, Barnsley are in good form. They beat Middlesbrough at home, I think, in their last game, which was a fantastic result for them. And against the Hull side, they ain't doing too badly either. Start to pick up a bit of form. And it's going to be a very tight game. I think it'll be a 1-1 draw. I think both sides will score a goal, and both sides will let one in. And it's just going to be a case of really whoever's up for it the most in a kind of like relegation type of scrap clash, really. It's going to be a very tight game, but I do think it'll be a 1-1 draw. And we move into Bolton versus QPR. It's probably another game that I think could be a draw. Obviously, QPR got a point up at Sunderland on Saturday. However, Bolton did beat Sheffield Wednesday, and it was quite a shock, really. Had to go home at Sheffield Wednesday, a very good side, and beat them 2-1. And I think that could stand them in good stead going into this game, because the QPR side, who are not fantastically great, I mean, they're not too bad either. However, they'll probably be involved in that group of teams who will be in the relegation scrap, along with Bolton as well, who do need to pick up form quickly. If they don't win this game, they've got away to Fulham in the next game. That could be a very tough game for them, especially if they don't pick up anything in this game. And I do think it'll be a 1-1... I think I'm going to go for a 2-2 draw in this game. Both sides aren't really great defensively, but both sides have proven they can score goals. It'll be a goal-score game. I think it'll be a 2-2 draw. So moving to Brentford-Sunderland, I do think Brentford will win this game against the Sunderland side, who are quite disjointed at the moment. Obviously, coming down from the Premier League's proven a very tough call in the Championship. Drew with QPR Saturday. McGeady popped up with a late equaliser for them. So that's sort of best of results for Simon Grayson's side, whose job could be hanging in the balance potentially. Although it's a bit harsh to really sack him early on. He's just got to really get time to work with his group. He's a good manager. I personally think he's the right man for the job as well. Against the Brentford side, who should win this game quite comfortably and win it 2-0. So moving to the next game. Bristol City host Leeds. This will be a very good game. Both teams are in decent form. Bristol City are playing fantastically well at the moment. Unbeaten, I think, 10 games or more in all competitions. They're playing fantastic football and really staking down the claim to try and push for a promotion place against the Leeds side, who are on a bit of a little wobble at the moment. Well, if that's what you want to call it, really. I mean, they're not playing too great. Losing a few games they really should have won recently. They didn't look great against Sheffield Wednesday in front of the TV cameras a couple of weeks ago, and they didn't play too well in their last game either. And I do think Leeds will probably win this game, I think. I think Bristol City, when you've got such a big unbeaten record, you need to go out, just remember what you're playing for, not to try and preserve a draw, preserve the run. You need to try and go out and win the game. Because if you're already planning to preserve an unbeaten run, you've really got to look at it and think, what are we playing for? And a loss could do well for Bristol City, because it gives them a chance to start over again, and it'll give them a chance to go out and play to win instead of trying to preserve a potential run that they're trying to build up. And I do think Leeds will win this game 2-1. Let's go into our next game. Derby host Sheffield Wednesday. Obviously, Derby won the East Midlands Derby on Sunday, and it was a performance really of them not doing a lot with the ball, but being very effective with the ball and what they were doing. Obviously, Vidra scored after 10 seconds or 12 seconds it was on Sunday, and that was a really good, well-taken finish in which Nottingham Forest had plenty of the ball, but Derby had less of the ball but did more of the ball, which is basically what Gary Rowett's side normally does. On the counter-attack, they don't have much of the ball, but when they do, they're quite effective with it, and they've got some good players at Derby as well. Against Sheffield Wednesday side, they really did slip up against Bolton, and I don't think they're going to win this game against Derby. I think that Derby win against Forest is going to be a major turning point for the Rams, and I do see them winning this game comprehensively 2-0. So in the next game, we've got Middlesbrough versus Cardiff. Another top game on paper. Two good sides who are looking to try and push up in the upper echelons of the table this season. And it's a case of whether or not Cardiff can bounce back from that defeat against Birmingham last Friday night, in which they weren't fantastically great, but they were unfortunate not to get a penalty right at the end. I can't remember who got fouled. I think it was Banbury got kicked in the head. I don't know how the referee didn't give it. But however, it wasn't the strongest performance from Cardiff. Against the Middlesbrough side, they haven't really got going yet either. Not the best results against Barnsley last week. And I do think this game will probably be a draw, really. If I had to go for a win, I'd probably say Cardiff, because it's this type of game, away on a counter-attacking type of team like Cardiff, this will probably suit them. Middlesbrough want more of the ball at home, I think, and this will definitely suit Cardiff on the Warnock side with the pace they've got on the counter-attack with Mendes, Lang, Zahore and Hoylett as well on the attack. Got a good midfield base as well. And if they were to win this game, I think they'd win it 2-1. However, I do think it'd be a 0-0 draw. So moving to the next game, I think Nottingham Forest versus Burton Albion. On paper, it should be a home win. They didn't play too bad in the Derby game against Derby County. Did a lot of the ball, but lacked that cutting edge. With all the good possession play, they lacked that cutting edge at the end, which really did cost them in that game. I mean, they dominated the ball, played some lovely stuff. Lots of Barry McCarr was teasing them all day. Daryl Murphy could have a couple of goals as well. Jason Cummings, he was a bit in and out as well. But they did Nottingham Forest are very easy on the eye, and it's just a case of them trying to transfer that easy on the eye type of play. It's been a bit more ruthless in front of the goal. Against the Burton side, who drew against Bristol City last Friday night as well, didn't register one shot on target, which probably is a bit worrying. Probably is going to turn up and try and be satisfied with a point and basically defend for their lives. And I do think they will lose this game here 2-0 against the Forest side, who should bounce back from that Derby defeat quite easily. And I just don't really see how Burton are going to win this game. I mean, if that's how they're going to play on their travels, like at Bristol City, where they're going to try and play for a draw, then it's a bit worrying for me, I do think, and I think they will lose this game. So on to our next game, we've got Sheffield United versus Reading. Another good game on paper. Reading obviously got a great result up at Leeds on Saturday, winning 1-0 there. I did think Yapstam, he's the type of man who knows what he's doing in these type of games, and it's just a fantastic thing that he did there. Didn't play the best of football. They got fortunate with the penalty save, which was a poor penalty from Pablo Hernandez. However, Mo Barrett took his goal really well. It's a fantastic strike from him. They probably quite debatable, really. They might deserve the 3 points. It's debatable, really, against the Sheffield United side, who beat Ipswich quite comfortably on Saturday as well. Looking like a good side, Sheffield United, really pushing on, sitting in the top automatic promotion parts of the table. And I do think they'll win this game 2-1. I think Bramall Lane's becoming a fortress for them at the moment. And I do think that Reading will come unstuck here, although I'm not going to count out Reading because they're not playing too bad away from home at the moment. However, I just do think Sheffield United's vocal support will just get them across the line. So moving into our next game, it is another 3 o'clock kickoff. It is Wolves versus Preston. And this is going to be an interesting game, really, for Wolves. Fantastic win against Aston Villa. It's now just a case of whether they can kick on now, granted these winter months where it's questionable whether some of their players could maybe start to feel the pinch in the cold weather. Some of their flair Portuguese players like Jota, like Neves, and also like Bonatini as well. Fantastic players for them. Absolutely stood out really well this season. Against the Preston side, you probably felt they were a bit harshly done by it up at Fulham on Saturday. They probably thought they deserved the 3 points. However, they didn't play too great in the second half, and it didn't really do them justice what they did in the first half. In the first half, they were fantastic, and in the second half, they kind of really slowly retreated as the game went on. They went backwards and backwards and backwards, invited Fulham pressure on. That's probably what really killed the game. That's probably what did them so badly in the second half, really. But obviously, Alex Neil's got big points to prove at Preston after his recent Norwich sacking as well. He's doing quite well at the moment. They're in the playoff places as well, so they're sitting pretty. And I think if they can get anything from this team against a fantastic Wolves side, it'd be a bonus for them. And I do think Wolves will go on to win this game 3-1. So we went to our 5:30 kickoff live on TV on Saturday night. It's Millwall home to Birmingham. Obviously, Millwall did lose to Brentford on Saturday. Bit of a suspect penalty appeal really for them as well, where they had a foul given in the box. However, Lee Gregory did score from the foul, and the referee asked to take the penalty. Gregory stepped up, stuck it into the bottom corner, which Daniel Bentley got down well and saved. Referee Lee Probert was under a bit of scrutiny there for somewhat pulling up the foul really after Millwall clearly had put the ball in the back of the net. But Neil Harris really hit the nail on the head and said if Millwall had scored the penalty, then that situation would have been discussed. However, they're not playing too bad, Millwall, at the moment. I think they're doing okay against the Birmingham side under Steve Cottrell. His first game in charge, they looked really good. The style of play wasn't the most attractive on the eye, but it's not how you play, it's how you win, really, in the Championship. And they got a very well-deserved 1-0 win against Cardiff, thoroughly deserved as well. And Steve Cottrell's really gone in there and changed the mentality. I think Birmingham look a much more fitter side than they were under Redknapp. Seem to be running around a bit more, pressing well, doing the right things in the right areas as well. And that's what Steve Cottrell will bring for them. Organisation, will get them well drilled. He's a good manager who knows the league well, knows the Football League well, so he knows what to expect. And if they can get this very good group of players they've got down there, if they can get them firing on all cylinders, then they won't be too far off the top 6, in my opinion. There's a good group down there. Harry Redknapp brought with some fantastic players, put his own idea in the squad, and there's a very good group there. It's got a lot of potential when it can gel. And I do think Birmingham will have enough in hand for Millwall and win 2-0 here. So moving into Sunday, we've got the Ipswich versus Norwich East Anglian derby. It doesn't need much more of an introduction, really, does it? It's a fantastic spectacle. 12 o'clock kickoff on Sunday as well, live on TV. And I do fancy Ipswich to maybe get a point here. Against Norwich, they're in fantastic form. We're probably starting to see Daniel Farke slowly getting used to the Championship. Recent results are suggesting that his side are slowly getting used to the league, pulling out some fantastic results. Obviously, good result up at Reading on the other week. A satisfactory draw against Hull on Saturday, thanks to Nelson Oliveira last-minute equaliser. Probably wasn't the result they all wanted. However, they didn't lose that game, so that's what they've got to look at it as. They didn't lose the game. Oliveira popped up at the end, got a last-minute goal, so it suggests that they're not losing games. And this is going to be a tough game. It's just basically, these derby games is about the occasion, who stepped up to the occasion, and each derby game's always got a hero and villain, but it's just about how really you see it, how many players really can step up to the occasion, who can settle on the occasion as well. I mean, Nelson Oliveira said in the press during the week that Ipswich are not as good as Norwich players-wise, so that could be said, that could be looked into two bad ways, really. Mick McCarthy could say that to his team and say, you know, look what Norwich think of us. He thinks, do you really think we're like that? It can be used either two ways. Maybe Nelson Oliveira does believe that. However, it can be used for the opposition to be fired up as well, to maybe go and silence the doubters. And it's going to be a fantastic game. However, I'm not too sure on the result. I do think Ipswich, if they can turn up on their day, they've proven they can, like against Sunderland, they can score plenty of goals. It's just whether they can turn up. There's a few suspect injuries. Joe Garner, he's 50-50 whether he'll be fit on Sunday, and he's a big player for Ipswich. Him and Martin Wackhorn going forward as well. They're two good players. They've got lots of Bassant Chalina, who's really caught the eye for me, playing out wide and just in behind the strikers as well. And they've got a good back four. I think Tommy Smith, I don't think is going to be fit for Sunday's game. I think he's got a back spasm, Mick McCarthy said in his conference today. However, they've got enough quality there to cause Norwich problems, and also Norwich have got quality to cause Ipswich problems as well. Obviously, the main man, Nelson Oliveira, scored on Saturday. Obviously, said some interesting things in his press conference. They've got James Maddison, he's playing really well at the moment, scored a fantastic free kick against Reading the other week. And they've got Cameron Jerome, who's going to bully the Ipswich defenders all day long, chase after every ball. And they've got a good German core in there as well. Obviously, Daniel Farke has brought some German players in who he's worked with in the past and really brought them in. They seem to have settled in quite well. Angus Gunn between the sticks has really improved game on, in my opinion. And I think if I'm going to have to go for a win, I'm going to play with Ipswich. I think if it had to be a win, it would be Ipswich win 2-1. I think if they turn up and they can get used to the occasion, get Portman Road rocking and make it uncomfortable for Norwich, I do think they'll go on to win this game. However, if Norwich do turn up and really show their quality they have, like against the likes of Reading, they can get Maddison on the ball, get balls into Jerome in the channels who can chase and hold up and allow the midfielders into play. And I do think they could cause a big threat. So we have it, guys. This is my EFL Extra Time Podcast, second part, the weekly preview to the Championship. We'll bring out Leagues 1 and 2 previews as well later on. And if you do like that, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new, and we'll see you on the next one. Thank you.